questions. Helps.
Coach, just how tough is the stretch is just getting down that big early and in the losing streak you've had? Just kind of talk about the confidence of this team. Do you feel like it's how tough is that starting a game like that with the way things have been going?
Oh, it's tough, you know. We just, it's almost getting like Groundhog's Day when you talk about our starts. It's weird, but you got to figure something out. You playing against a team like Virginia. You hoping guys come out and play with some energy. You hope that we're gonna come. We're gonna play with have more intensity, play with a little more pride early on. And I thought that we in spurts early we tried. We weren't always smart about it. Wasn't always smart about it. We definitely didn't defend the 3-point line. And that's something that we talked about. Obviously, that's been hurting us, more than just this game. We've been giving up a lot of threes lately, and that's just the makeup of it. At the end of the day, what I seen, from UVA was just a team that was good. Looked like some grown ass men out there. Now that the game is over, it is what it is. And I thought that they put a lot of pressure on us. And in those moments, man, you got to be able to, be tough enough to go make a shot, stop runs, different things, and get to the point where trying to stop the bleeding the whole first half and call timeouts. And, from that standpoint, I just, it's, for me, it's after a while, Alex, it's not even about winning and losing. I just, I'm looking to see what we made of. Just being honest at the end of the day, because sometimes, it's more about people tapping your chest and I feel that, I can say I feel that personally as a coach. When we're playing against whoever we're playing against. Tonight it was UVA because I can't put the jersey on and run up and down no more. So, sometimes I just, you just want to see a little bit more fight. That's all. And that for me, is at times is a disappointing thing.
Other questions? Randy?
Not talking about an excuse here, just technique. Is it a little hard to replicate the way their bigs, can trap on the perimeter and kind of disrupt you offensively? Is it hard to replicate that when you're preparing for this Virginia team?
No. Again, Randy, I appreciate you putting the Band-Aid on it, but I'll take the Band-Aid off. I think that the one thing I've always said, and you've always heard me because you've been here, is that, your habits start in practice. So you can't take practice for granted. And so when we in practice, sometimes we play harder in practice than we do in the game. And I don't know if that's trying to get playing time or but man, you trying to play hard in the game. And when you play against teams like this, you can tell, their habits, their attention to detail, they take the assignment from practice to the game. That's what I see, and I think that that's something that I even told our team, and I was like, the things that I always talk about, they just did that to us, and you can't you can't replicate it in practice if you don't try to do the right thing in practice each and every day. That's so for me that's the way I look at it. They played harder, and they do those things on a consistent basis. Yes, they shovel bodies in and out as well. So they're a deep team, seasoned team is I would say too, but at the end of the day, you still have to match that intensity because we had our moments where, and you see, we talked about it even, building up to the game, we could beat them off the dribble, but you just can't play one-on-one. They're a good defensive team. They got double gaps. They do different things. And so, guys pay attention to the scouting reports. They're looking at our guys, and they know who the shooter is, who's the non-shooter, who can I play off of, who can I not play with. Like that matters. Like it matters. Like you got to be able to take the game from the paper to the court.
Coach, we know that sometimes your team is only as good as you can rebound the ball, whether it be offensively, defensively, or whatnot. And I think you all were minus 17 in the rebound department. You don't get every rebound. That's just not plausible. You don't get everything. But when it comes to grading the effort on the boards tonight for your guys, how do you see the effort?
You know, looking at our stat sheet, you know, compared to theirs, our perimeters, you know, got 11 rebounds. Their perimeters, I'm just looking at 2 right now, so I don't even want to look down the rest of the line, but their perimeters, Thomas had 4, Lewis had 5, Mallory had 7. You know, so when you got a shortage of bigs, we always talk about our guards got to be better rebounders, and I didn't add Mustaf up in there because I kind of put Mustaf and Bai together, you know, since we've been playing small. But you know, our guards got to help us rebound. You know, when we were you know, pretty good playing small ball, it was our guards would come in and help the rebound. And when you're negative 17 on the glass, it usually comes down to guard rebounding. You know, that's going to be the difference, and I think that was the difference tonight.
Anything else for Coach? Okay, Coach, thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right.